Why? What's good, YouTube? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boxing community. This is my post-fight reaction to the Kell Brook Amir Khan fight from yesterday. Before we go any further in the video, let's take care of the YouTube stuff. Like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you can be alerted whenever I post my upcoming videos. All right, so back to the post-fight reaction. This fight in particular, I think is at least 4 years past its expiration date in terms of when these two should have fought each other. I think this would have been a much better fight 4 years ago had they fought at that point. But even with that being said, it was a good fight, a solid fight. I was pleasantly surprised and pleased with the fight. I didn't have the same type of letdown I did when Floyd Mayweather Jr. fought Manny Pacquiao years ago. I guess the reason being because I had much higher expectations for that particular fight because that was the biggest fight in boxing at the time. Whereas in this particular fight, I knew that these two fighters are on the back end of their career, and I didn't have the same type of expectations I would have had they fought maybe 4 years ago. All right, now in terms of the way the fight played out, I think had they fought in their primes, I think the fight would have played out the exact same way. The reason being, Amir Khan, he is a highly skilled fighter. He has very fast hands, but he has no chin. Anytime he gets hit with a clean punch or a decent punch, he doesn't respond well. He doesn't think well. And usually it's the beginning of the end for him. Even if he recovers, he eventually gets hurt again and he eventually gets stopped. So in addition to, in terms of him not having a chin, he has very fast hands again. He's very skilled. But one of the issues with him over the years is he overcommits to his punches. Instead of him, just landing a good punch, maybe landing a good 2-3 punch combination, he likes to overcommit to his punches and land like 4 and 5 punch combinations. And he has fast hands. He could get it off initially, but it always leads to him getting counterpunched and getting caught by shots that he shouldn't get caught by. And the fact that he doesn't have a chin, that kind of like further adds fuel to the fire. Now, in terms of Kell Brook, even though he doesn't have as much hand speed as Amir Khan, he has great timing, and great timing can always offset great hand speed. All right, now in terms of the fight itself, even from the opening ring walk, it was a pretty good atmosphere and environment. Of course, both of these fighters, they are both from the UK. They're both UK fighters, and there's been a great deal of bad blood and animosity between these two fighters over the years. It led to a nice lead up to the fight. Kell Brook came out. He came out to Kanye West, all of the lights in terms of his ring walk. Amir Khan came out to Shaka Khan's Ain't Nobody. And that point forward, the atmosphere seemed to be, pretty electric. The UK is known for having, great and rowdy fans and having, raucous crowds. And this fight here, it was pretty much the same. From the opening bell, Amir Khan, he came out, he did what he typically does. And Kell Brook, he came out and he applied pressure from the opening bell. He applied good pressure, smart pressure, because he's naturally the bigger fighter. Amir Khan started out at lightweight. Kell Brook pretty much was a welterweight most of his career. So Kell Brook is naturally the bigger fighter. In addition to that, I reiterated again, and I'm going to state it multiple times, Amir Khan doesn't have a chin. So I think he wanted to come out, and he did a good job setting the tone and the tempo for the fight, the rest of the fight. They came out the first round. It was a decent little scrap at the beginning. I think Kell Brook hurt Amir Khan, towards the end of the first round. It was the first time he hurt him, but it wasn't the last time. He hurt Amir Khan multiple times during the course of the fight. If I'm not mistaken, I think he hurt him, it seemed like every other round. Well, he hurt him multiple times, but when it was real noticeable was the first round, the third round, the fifth round, and of course he stopped him in the sixth round. So the first round, Kell Brook hurt Amir Khan towards the end of the first round. Thereafter, Amir Khan seemed to recover a little bit. But again, Kell Brook, he kept coming forward. He kept applying smart pressure. He didn't throw a whole lot of jabs, but when he did commit to the jab, he was hitting Khan with the jab pretty good. He, landed a lot of left hooks and a great deal of right hands. He landed a lot of right hands. Seemed like Khan just couldn't get out the way of the overhand right. And there were times where Amir Khan, you could see where he's skilled. He got in some good work, but every time he seemed to get going, Kell Brook would catch him with one of those right hands, one of those left hooks, and he'll buzz him. And for whatever reason, over the years we know that Amir Khan doesn't have a chin, but when he gets hurt, he doesn't think well when he's hurt. In addition to that, he over the years it seemed like he never developed the skill of being able to tie his opponent up on the inside when he's hurt. I think had he been able to develop that over the years, he might have been able to avoid some of the situations he's been in. So he recovered in the second round. He came, he did some good work. Again, in the third round, Brook had another good round. Of course, on my scorecard, I had Kell Brook pretty much winning all the rounds. And like I said, Khan did good work at times, but every time he'd get in some good work, Brook would catch him with a good shot, and he'd get hurt again. So again, in the third round, Kell Brook Kell Brook came out. He caught Amir Khan again. Seemed like Khan recovered a little bit in the fourth round. He got in some decent work, and then again, Brook caught up to him. In the fifth round, it really seemed to go down here, where it pretty much was over. It was a good, decent round. He got in some good, decent work, and Brook caught him again at the end of the fifth round, and that pretty much was all she wrote. At the beginning of the sixth round, Kell Brook came out. He caught Amir Khan with a jab, a good jab, and when he caught him with the jab, he hurt him, and that pretty much was it. He landed another good flurry after that point, and the referee stopped the fight. That pretty much was the end of the fight. Now, in terms of what's next for each fighter, first of all, starting with Amir Khan, he's had a good career. He had a decent career. Nothing to sneeze at, but at this point in his career, I think he should call it a career. He should retire. If I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me correctly, he's been knocked out in like he's been knocked out 5 times. From what I can recall, in those 5 knockouts, like at least 3-4 of those knockouts, he sustained a great deal of punishment. At this point in his career, he doesn't need to continue. Hopefully he saved and took care of his money, so he doesn't need to fight on any further, because he's taken a lot of punishment over the course of his career. Like I said, I think 3 of those knockouts I can recall, he took a great deal of punishment. He doesn't need to take any more punishment from this point forward, so I think he should just hang it up, call it a career, and because there's always life after boxing. So I think he needs to call it a career. Now, in terms of Kell Brook, what's next for him? In one of my previous videos, I talked about Keith Thurman and how after his win against Mario Barrios, what's next for him. At this point in his career, I really don't think he's worthy of a fight with Errol Spence Jr., nor is he worthy of a fight with Terrence Crawford. And I know at this point in his career, he wants a big payday. He kind of wants to cash out. And I know he's not going to give an upcoming fighter like Jerron Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz that type of opportunity. And as a result, since Kell Brook looked good in this particular fight, I think those two should fight each other. The same way that Keith Thurman avoided Errol Spence early in his career, he also avoided Kell Brook, in my opinion. And I think it'll be a good fight. I know at this point in Kell Brook's career, I don't think he can make welterweight again. So I think they could fight, at junior middleweight. Even if they don't fight at the full junior middleweight limit, they could fight at a catch weight, maybe 150, 152. I think it'll be a good fight because, like I said, I know Keith Thurman, he wants a fight with Spence Crawford. I don't think he's worthy of either one of those 2 fights. I think both of those fighters stop him. And I know he's not going to fight Jerron Ennis or Virgil Ortiz. As a result, I think this is a good in-between fight. Both of these fighters on the back end of their career. I think it should be a good scrap. So I think those 2 should fight each other. I think it'll be a good fight. In that particular fight, I think I would lean a little bit towards Keith Thurman. If Brook really committed to going to the body, I think he would stop Thurman. But I don't think he would do that. And as a result, I mean, I just like to see the fight. I think it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good, decent fight for both fighters. I think it should be a decent payday for both fighters. I don't think it's a pay-per-view worthy fight, but I think it'll be a good, solid fight. So hopefully that'll be the next fight for both fighters. If not, we'll see which direction Kell Brook goes in, which direction Keith Thurman goes in. And in terms of the welterweight division, touching on that briefly, if Errol Spence Jr. is able to get by Yordenis Ugas, hopefully Bud Crawford and Errol Spence could work things out and they'll fight for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world. Hopefully that's the fight, and hopefully Keith Thurman doesn't get in the way of that. And I think a good fight for him in the meantime would be a fight with Kell Brook. All right. So that's my post-fight reaction to the Kell Brook Amir Khan fight from yesterday. Y'all catch me on the rebound. Again, this is Coach 67 Sports TV. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell. Keep your eyes open for my next video. Have a blessed and phenomenal day, and peace out.